Hello, welcome to today's video where I'm going to be swatching all of my Terra eyeshadows. I did swatch them by color category, but take that word loosely because a lot of these are hard to place in a color category. So I pretty much see like the oranges, yellows, reds, then the pinks and the purples, and then the greens and the blues, and then the iridescent shades. So yeah, take that word loosely because some of these are very shifty and it was really hard to place them in a specific color. At the second part of the video, I will be doing some comparisons, and it's a mix between Terra Moon shades, comparisons in between these shades, and comparisons with other brands. I just want to point out that on the comparisons part, I will not be doing any iridescent comparisons because I actually compared all of my Terra Moon's iridescents on a dedicated iridescent comparison video, which I will link on the cards here somewhere, and I'll also link it down below in case you're interested in those comparisons. I also want to say that I bought these shades all myself. I never received PR from Terra Moons. Hopefully one day I will, but so far these were all purchased with my own money. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the iridescents. On the first group here, we have Meteorite, Phoenix, Charon, Celine, Snow Globe, and Lightyear. And I think you can see Lightyear and Phoenix are multichromes, while the other ones are more like duochromes. And if you ask me the difference between Charon, Celine, Snow Globe, I cannot tell you. I feel like there's like from Charon to Snow Globe, there's like an increased amount of green in them, so Snow Globe is the most green of them all, while Charon is the least green, but they're very similar. Here we have Europa, Andromeda, Euphoria, Lunar Spectrum, Red Giant, and Sublunar. These are all really pretty. I think you can see Europa, Andromeda are more like duochromes, while the other ones are multichromes. I know that everybody loves Red Giant, but personally it's not one of my favorites. I feel like it's very dull. I prefer Sublunar instead. Then here we have Atlas, Half Moon, X-Ray, and Space Baby. Again, these are really pretty. I think Space Baby is the only multichrome here, while the other ones are duochromes. Now let's talk about some neutrals. You're gonna see it's not really neutrals, it's like golds, oranges, browns, reds. It's like kind of a mix of the ones that I didn't really know where to place. Here we have Sun Sign, Galactic Blossom, Axis, Solstice, Gamma Ray, and Mocha Twilight. Solstice is like out of these shades like my least favorite. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not the kind of shadow I go for, while Galactic Blossom, Axis, Gamma Ray, and Mocha Twilight are some of my favorites. Here we have Caesium, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Rubidium, Yo, that one is discontinued, Lightspeed, Martian, and Titan. Again, these are all really beautiful. Lightspeed is also one of my favorites. I just love that it's like, it's technically a duochrome, but because it has the yellow base, you can kind of see three colors. It's like the yellow, the blue, and the pink. So I think that one is especially beautiful. And here we have Lyra or Lyra, I don't know. Aurum Regalia, Solar Delirium, Mu Si Phi, Arcturus, and Venus in Chains. Again, all beautiful. Venus in Chains is one of my favorites, like for a one and done, grungy, red look. It's just really beautiful and really unique shadow. Now let's talk about the pinks and the purples. Here we have Celestial Petal, Halley's Comet, Starburst, Rosette, Palladium, and Demas. Again, all beautiful. I don't have much to say about these apart from the fact that they're beautiful. Here we have Antares, Terrestrial, Venus, Crimson Eclipse, Vela Supernosa, Terrasphere, and Space Drifter. I feel like the top shades are all like very like on the shiny shiny side. Venus is very shiny, not really sparkly, while the other ones have some sparkles. Space Drifter, I would say, is like the most satin of them all. It's not that shiny. And also Terrasphere, it's a little bit shinier than Space Drifter, but I wouldn't necessarily say that one is super shiny. I feel like the top 5 are more shiny and or sparkly. Here we have Star Formation, Ultraviolet, Mystic Mountain, Bellatrix, Prism Skies, and Cosmic Collision. These are all super sparkly, very beautiful, very dimensional. Cosmic Collision, I have a comparison later on. It's similar to some other shades that I already have, but the level of sparkle of the shades here is just amazing. Here we have Lunar Lavender, Terra Borealis, Hydra, Purple Clouds, Interstellar, and Dark Matter.
I think you can see Dark Matter is really satin, while Lunar Lavender, Terra, Borealis, and Hydra are quite sparkly and shiny. Lunar Lavender is one of my favorites. It's beautiful, and Terra Borealis has been probably like my favorite duochrome. Like once I first got into indie eyeshadow, it's like if I ever hit pan on eyeshadow, it's probably gonna be Terra Borealis. It's just a beautiful one. Purple Clouds and Interstellar, I think you can see they're not super shiny, but they're definitely shinier than Dark Matter. Here we have Shattered Stars, Veil Nebula, Moontide, UFO, and Midnight Winter. Shattered Stars and Veil Nebula are some of my favorite one and done, kind of like muted neutral shades. Because I have a cool tone skin tone, they look very, like these shades are very flattering on me. I also really like Moontide. It's very vibrant. It has a beautiful blue shift. UFO I don't use very often, but it is like a very unique shadow. And Midnight Winter, it's also like a very dark shade, but it is quite sparkly. Here we have Chasing Comets, Reign of Terra, Witch's Brew Nebula, Carina Nebula, Helix Nebula, Tidal Flare, and Solar Expansion. And I know that some of these look very similar. I do have eye swatches of those three shades, Carina, Helix, and Tidal Flare. Because I feel like when you use them as one and done shades, at least on my skin tone, the base and the differences come through, even though I think you can see they are like all in the same family. But yeah, those are beautiful one and done shades for me. And Solar Expansion, even though I don't use it very often, it's ultra sparkly. Just like Witch's Brew Nebula, they have the same like super sparkly formula. Now let's talk about the blues and the greens. First, here we have Serpents, Radio Velocity, which was an Amazon exclusive, Moon Mist, and Radiation. Radiation is my least used of these. I love Serpents, Radio Velocity, and Moon Mist. They are great as one and done. They are great as like toppers to like transform other shades. Really like beautiful and wet looking. Here we have probably like one of my favorite groups of shadows, Ganymede, Coalescence, Quasar, and Big Dipper. Yeah, very beautiful. Here we have Space Gaze, M51, Big Bang, Beyond Apollo, and Neptune's Diamonds. I think you can see M51 and Big Bang are quite similar, but they have like a difference in the tone. The tone of the shift is different, and Big Bang is more like of a vibrant green, while M51 is a bit more subdued. Here we have Hot Spice Cider, Cosmic Noon, La Lune, and Exoplanet. I feel like these are all great one and done shades. Exoplanet is very satin, but it can be a it can be a vibe sometimes. Another beautiful group here, Enceladus, I don't know how to pronounce that, OP, Perihelion, Hyperion, Zenith, Voyager, and Wonder Star. I have a comparison later on because I think you can see the bottom three shades are quite similar to each other, but I'll talk more about it later. Here we have Alcefina, Pistol Star, Moon Mosaic, Atomic Division, and Milky Way. These are all beautiful, but I have to say Milky Way is so unique. I wore this recently and it's just so beautiful. It's like, again, because I have this cool tone, I have a cool tone skin tone. This one is a one and done on me, looks very like magical. Here we have Ceres, Counting Stars, Rhea, Moon Lily, and Supernova. These are probably like my least worn shades. I have to pull out Ceres and wear it more often, but I think you can see these are more on like the shiny side and not that sparkly. Here we have Star Sign, Orion's Belt, Cosmic Dancer, which is another beautiful one and done shade, Wormhole, Multiverse, and Dark Energy. Wormhole and Dark Energy are quite similar. I do prefer Wormhole because I think it's just a little bit lighter, it doesn't have that like super black base. Here we have the Cosmos and the Stellar Apotheosis. I wanted to have these separate just because they are like somewhat similar, but I think you can see they are different. Pink is brighter on Stellar Apotheosis, and the shift is different. It's like one goes more green while the other goes more like yellow gold. Then last but not least, we have Moonshine, Carbon, and Dark Side. Moonshine is another one of my favorites. Super beautiful, where like as alone or as a topper. Now let's get into the comparisons. So first thing that I want to say is that I will not be comparing the iridescent shades because I have a whole video dedicated for iridescent comparisons, so I'm going to link it down below in case you're interested. I am pretty sure that I compared every single one of the Terra Moon's iridescents to other shades from other like somewhat big indie brands. And if you have seen my Cleona video, some of the comparisons here are the same because, it was like the same shades. I wasn't going to redo them. So if they look familiar to you, That's probably why. But I also have a ton of new comparisons here. So here we have Cleona Rigo, Terra Moon's Moontide, Luxie Painted Lady, Cleona Royalty, and Luxie Fios. And again, these are kind of all in the same family, but none of them are exactly the same. Here we have Cleona in Yellow, Glam Shop It's a Hit, Touch of Glam Shine Me a Kaleidoscope, Sydney Grace Ripple Effect, and Terra Moon's Cosmic Collision. And even though these are all like super similar, they're like different versions of the same thing. Cosmic Collision is just extra sparkly. Here we have Cleona Emblem and Terra Moon's Ausifina. And here's the thing, even though they are not the same, Ausifina is more blue, Emblem is more green. On my eyes, I cannot tell a difference. So I think if you have one, you don't need the other one. And then at the bottom we have Cleona Crown Jewel and Terra Moon's Orion's Belt. And those to me are pretty much the same. Okay, now we have a bunch of greens. We have Cleona Duchess, Terra Moon's OP, Terra Moon's Ganymede, Terra Moon's Perihelion, Terra Moon's Coalescence, Mom Professional Acid Trip, Cleona Royal Pair, and Terra Moon's Quasar. And I think you can see, none of these are the same, but they're all like greens with mainly a pink sparkle. Now we have Cleona Blaze, Divina Tucana, Terra Moon's Venus, and Dandelion's Ear Scene. And I think you can see Terra Moon's Venus is the shiniest and most vibrant of them all, but it's not really sparkly, it's just super shiny. Here we have Cleona Wall of Ivy, Luxie Phone Home, and Terra Moon's Space Gaze. Again, none of these are the same, but in my mind, I felt like they were somewhat similar. Here we have Cleona State, Pretty for Your Face Explosive, and Terra Moon's Hot Spice Cider. I think you can see Explosive and Hot Spice Cider are pretty much the same. Here we have Terra Moon's Ensaladas, Luxie Splash, Terra Moon's Shattered Stars, and Terra Moon's Prism Skies. And again, these are all like similar but different. Technically, Shattered Stars and Prism Skies are the same color, but I feel like they have a very different effect on my eyes. Shattered Stars just comes off more elegant, while Prism Skies has more like that scattered sparkle effect. And Ensaladas just feels more refined to me than Luxie Splash. I think there's something about the tone that is a little bit different. So yeah, not the same. I just wanted to compare them. Here we have Copacetic Uncharted and Terra Moon's Hyperion, and these to me are very, very, very similar. At the bottom we have Terra Moon's Rosette and Pretties for Your Face Gina, which is my collab with Pretties for Your Face. And these are not the same, but they're in the same family. And I actually love putting Rosette on top of Gina as like a sparkly topper. Now here we have, these are all Terra Moon shades. We have Zenith, Voyager, Wonderstar, Exoplanet, and Solar Expansion. And Zenith and Voyager are pretty much the same, but Zenith has a bigger particle size, so it's like has like more of a chunky sparkle. And Wonderstar is very similar to Voyager, but Voyager pulls more like pinky purple, while Wonderstar pulls more like red orange. Here we have Terra Moon's Aurum Regalia, Terra Moon's Galactic Blossom, and Glam Shop Goldsmith. Goldsmith is different, it just kind of looks similar on the pan. And I think you can see Aurum Regalia and Galactic Blossom are quite similar. And pretty much when I wear one, I think of the other one, but they're not the same. Galactic Blossom is a lot more orange, while Aurum Regalia is a little lighter and more like a peachy. Here we have Terra Moon's M51, Divina Asteria, and Glam Shop Zigzag. Zigzag and Astir are pretty much the same, while M51 is in the family, but I think you can see the shift goes more purple, less magenta, and it's also a little bit lighter. Now here we have three that for me are the same. This is Terra Moon's Starburst, Copacetic Transmutation, and Glam Shop Vector. They're very, very similar. Here we have Terra Moon's Lightyear, Pretties for Your Face Flare, and Luxie Shimmy. These are all different, but they are like different versions of the same idea. Lightyear, I feel like it's the most shiny and sparkly of them all. Here we have Terra Moon's Axis, Cleona Trinket, Glam Shop Orchid, and Terra Moon's Celestial Petal. And even though I feel like these can kind of like belong together, they have a very different effect on the eyes, especially Axis and Trinket. Trinket comes a lot more like blue, while Axis has that really strong orange base. Here we have Cleona Stenso, Terra Moon's Reign of Terra, and Copacetic Necromancy. Again, different versions of the same idea. Now here we have Cleona Grisaille, Terra Moon's Terra Borealis, Luxie Hybrid, and Glam Shop Vegas Biz. I do feel like Terra Borealis and Hybrid are 100% the same, while Grisaille is a little different. It pulls like more purple, and Vegas Biz is like a bit more brown, more neutral. I don't know how to explain, but I don't feel like the Grisaille and Vegas Biz are necessarily 100% the same. And then here again, kind of like different shades in the same family, we have Cleona Shard, Produce for Your Face Heatwave, Terra Moon's Interstellar, Divina Messier, and Divina Skyla. Okay, so here are some comparisons from my Instagram because I couldn't find the original footage, so that's why they're cropped weirdly, but I still wanted to include them. So in this first one, we have Copacetic Santa Baby, Touch of Glam Undeniably Pink, Quicksand Boxcar Kiss, Glam Shop Andy, Sydney Gray Swoon, Cleona Dragantini, Terra Moon's Terrestrial, Terra Moon's Antares, Touch of Glam Summer Days, Luxie Glasswing, and Cleona Rio. I don't think Terrestrial and Antares are 100% the same as the other ones, but I definitely feel like they belong in this family, and I feel like on the eyes they can come off quite similar. Pretty much the difference between Terrestrial and Antares is that Terrestrial is more like a cool tone raspberry, while Antares is more like a warm coral, but they're very similar. Okay, now here we have Terra Moon's Mocha Twilight, Urban Decay Lithium by Bodyography Caviar, Moira Muse, Charlotte Tilbury's Smoky Quartz, Victoria Beckham Mink, and Phytosurgeon's Crystal Constellation. I feel like Bodyography Caviar is the closest one to Mocha Twilight, Mocha Twilight being much cheaper than Caviar, but yeah, it kind of, I just feel like it fits in this family. And then the last one, here we have Terra Moon's The Cosmos, Touch of Glam I Need Vitamin C, Glam Shop Even Better, Sydney Grace Ocean View, Touch of Glam Iconic, and Terra Moon's Big Dipper. And I think you can see, for me, like the top 1, 2, 3, like the top, all the shades apart from Big Dipper are like pretty much the same, different version of the same thing. Big Dipper is like the Cosmos on like a darker green base, but the sparkle and the shift are pretty much the same.
This is it. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.